For several years, I've collected video games. However, there is one series that is beloved to me because of my nostalgia for these iconic games. A series that lasted about 2 decades, and within that time, 7 games have been released. These games would be released all the way from the GBA to the 3DS, creating some of the best, not you, video games I have ever seen. However, back in 2019, the developers would go bankrupt. But they gave out a final message to collect all 7 games, and only then the Nintendo Lords will grant you one wish. Shit, wait. And finally, after years of searching, I have them all. And with this ultimate power, I grant my wish. And I wish for a new Mario Luigi game. Alright, everyone saw this coming. So, the Mario Luigi series is my favorite series of all time. So I thought, what's a better video idea to look at my complete collection of the Mario Luigi series. But before we start, I just want to apologize in advance. I'm sort of distracted on the Nintendo Direct that's happening. That it's about to start in a few minutes, so I might be like a little distracted in the video, so. Alright, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Starting off, we have Mario Luigi Partners in Time for the DS. The game would come out 2 years after the release of Superstar Saga. From what I remember, it was the second game I got right after Bowser's Inside Story. This would be the first time the Mario Luigi series would be on the DS, and it's not really a big difference, like, cause, you know, you still play the game as normal, just with 2 screens now. But anyway, the box art, it's absolutely beautiful. It takes after Superstar Saga's original box art for the Game Boy Advance. It just looks so good, the way it, like, captures, like, that chaotic feeling in the game. And they kept the socks, they kept Luigi's socks. They kept the socks, they kept the socks. The socks, they kept the socks. Sorry you had to see that. Anyway, let's look at the spine cover for Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. Now, if you don't have eyes, you can see that they take after Superstar Saga again, this time being the title with Mario and Luigi, how it's similar from the Game Boy Advance box art. Now, folks, if you flip your box art to the back, you'll see that it's the back of the box art. What'd you expect? Me to read the words? What am I, your mom telling you a bedtime story? Get out of here. Fun fact, if you actually open the box, there's a game inside. Amazing, right? Now, once I open it, you'll see the beautiful game Partners in Time, along with its beautiful manual. Yes, that's right, it's complete in box. The more I think about it, I think I got this for like my birthday when I was really young. I think it was also at a GameStop, but anyway, if you look, it's in very terrible condition. I don't know if I chewed on it, my dog chewed on it, the GameStop employee chewed on it. I don't know, anything could be possible. However, I do want to specify this is like the only bad condition game I have, so if this was like triggering to you, don't worry, there's not any other terrible looking cartridges. Now, before we move on to the manual, I want to look at the short pages that usually suggest other video games for the DS. It's always fun to take a look at these and see what games it might suggest, but I know it's not randomized for like every copy. I'm pretty sure it's all the same. Now, for the first game, we have New Super Mario Bros. Obviously, it's, you know, a classic game. I feel like what is there to say? It's a masterpiece for the DS. It rebooted the original series of the Mario Bros. All the way from the NES. Next up, we have, like, the DS-ware things, you know, the malware, you know, the shovelware, whatever you want to call it. Then we have Facebook. Wait, Facebook? What the hell? How the hell is Mark Zuckerberg already in my DS game? Get out. Alright, next up, we have Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. It's funny how now this is proof that my copy of Partners in Time was printed after Bowser's Inside Story released. And finally, we have Mario Party DS, which is one of the best Mario Party games. I lost it as a kid, so I don't really have much to say about it. Is there anything back here? Oh, no, it's just health stuff. Alright, we don't care about that. This is America. Now, next up is the thing that we all love looking at on the car ride home. It's the manual. Originally, it did not come with a manual until a few months ago when I was in Florida for spring break. And I found a copy of it in a game store, which I am extremely thankful that I found one. That's because this was the last item I needed to finally complete the full collection of Complete in Boxes Mario & Luigi series. So right now we got the prologue. That's some good stuff right there. Next up, we got, look at that. We got the characters, we got the Shroobs, we got the Mario Brothers. Next up, you ready for this? We got map guide and intro. In all seriousness, I think there's something absolutely beautiful just seeing like full colored manuals. And I feel like also a big thing as a kid, you always lost these boxes or the manuals in general. So if you had a box and you would just open it and only see the game and not the manual, It kind of sucks because like now you're older and you have a collection of video games. You kind of wonder like what those manuals look like. Well, now here it is. Now I might as well start talking about my opinion with this game. As a kid, I definitely loved this game. And I believe the reason why was just because, you know, I was a kid and this is basically a sequel to Bowser's Inside Story, yet more of a prequel because this came out before. However, I could never beat it as a kid. It was hard as balls for me to play. And I think that was just because I feel like you had to grind like a shit ton. Like you had to go for every enemy. And usually as a kid, I got bored with like fighting enemies. With all the random encounters and stuff, it really got tiring for me as a little kid, so I would just run from the battles. Yet every time I would get to a boss fight, it would be a pain in the ass to get through. There were also the bros attacks, which I remember kind of confused me as a kid, because now instead of just pressing A and B for like the green shell or red shell or whatever, now you had to press A, Y, B, Y, A, Y, B, Y, you know? Because like the bros attack now include like the babies. And now speaking of the babies, I feel like that was a really good selling point. It's a pretty cool concept to like, you know, for the Mario Bros to go back in time and then fight an army of random evil mushrooms from outer space. It definitely fits in the category of like wackiness of the Mario and Luigi series. Now, if I was ranking them from best to worst games, I feel like I would put this at like number 3 or number 4. It was a pretty good game, but I feel like it was just hard to beat as a kid. And now as we finish the manual, look at that beautiful yellow back with the customer service. Now let's put it back and move on to the next game. Have you ever looked back on any old games you had as a kid? Like the games you had from like so far back that you barely remember them? Right until you look up the game and it all flows back to you. Obviously that's nostalgia, but for me, when I look back at a certain game, I get this feeling of a time that's like way far gone. A time where it marks the beginning of your childhood. To the point where this game will be forever in your mind as the best game ever. Now I knew this game was the best in the series, obviously. I mean, Kid Me definitely knew what he was doing. But this game has been engraved into my skull to the point where I still remember every single detail until the part that I couldn't beat this kid. But I remember every detail. I remember that pot in the intro. I remember the fat-ass dad who like rolls in Kool-Aid Man style. I remember the part where Bowser breaks the table in the intro as well. I remember that random gum thing that you had to burn and you couldn't punch as Bowser in like the intro once when you wake up as him. I remember the part where Bowser turns fat and Fawful extracts Peach out of his, oh god, don't know. Anyway, here's my copy of Mario Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Now I'd like to clarify that the original one I had when I was a little kid is lost forever. I don't know where it is, I lost it. However, I recently found a new copy while I was game hunting with my friends. And if you're not blind, you'll notice that there's some kind of case around it. And there's a specific reason why there's a case around it. You wanna hear why? Well, I'll tell you why. So you see, when I entered the store, I noticed there was something off about it. It was sealed. That's right, folks. It was sealed. Look at that. Look at that. That looks so beautiful. Ugh, yeah. Sorry about that, folks. Sealed stuff always gets me going. Let's look at the back. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Now, folks, there's only one problem with this, though. I can't open it. Obviously, I can't. If I did, it would decrease in price and I'd be very sad. However, I would like to file a complaint. So you see, once when I got it, for some reason, the game store that had this stupidly had like one of those price tag stickers on it to show like the price of how much it was. And the entire time I was in the car ride, I had to like carefully remove it without trying to break the seal. It was very stressful. The entire time I was in the car ride, I was like, no. You get it. Alright, let's move on to the next game. Hi, here's an update. I got it recently signed by Charles Martinet. Yeah, I saw him. There's some ducks over there. Ignore those. Yeah. I mean, look at this. I talked to him. I said hi to him. Yeah, I'll talk about it in, like, another video of my experience with, like, video game conventions and shit, but, yeah. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. I paid $80 for it. Yeah. Up next is Mario Luigi Dream Team. I absolutely loved this game as a kid, and it was the first game I beat in the series. The front cover now takes after Mario Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, and you gotta love like the new art style. I feel like they really nailed how to describe like the dream theme in this. I mean, look at Luigi. He's so dreamy. Wait, I didn't mean it like that. I recently replayed this game over spring, and you could really see how much inspiration is taken from Bowser's Inside Story. From the giant battles to messing with Luigi to affect the dream world. Similar to how messing around with Bowser would affect what's going on in Bowser's stomach. Even the back of the box art seems very similar to Bowser's Inside Story. You really gotta love the art to this game. I mean, like, come on, it's Mario kicking a ball of Luigi's into an enemy. But continuing, over here we have the font. It's very bland, sadly. However, if you look closely at the 3DS menu icon, you could see that it's Mario and Luigi's Dream. It's very cute, but without like the text font, it's kind of bland on the side. But now opening up, we'll see that we have... Are my fingers gonna open it? Jesus Christ. I'm making this so goddamn suspenseful. Just open it already. Hey, there we go. I feel like now's a good time to mention that this was the only Mario and Luigi game I bought that didn't have a red case. I swapped it with a different 3DS game so it didn't look weird having all red then one white in my collection. Fun fact, this isn't the original copy to this case. I lost the original copy after I beat it, and since then I've looked all over for a new one. And coincidentally, I've only found the cases, but no game. I remember entering a store and seeing a case on display and showing it to my friend and saying something like, "Finally, after all these years, I could finally see the game in the case where it belongs." And then opening it and then seeing there was nothing in there and then be like, Anyway, next we're gonna check out the games that we could have bought instead of this game. You ready for this? It says if you enjoyed Mario & Luigi Dream Team, then there's these other great games you gotta check out. Which the last time I checked, I'm pretty sure those games are nothing like Mario & Luigi, but alright. Next up, we got Nintendo eShop. Then we have Nintendo Videos. You all know I love that. Netflix, for some reason. I don't know why you want to watch that on your DS. Then we have the iconic DSware games. Does anyone remember Mario Calculator? Bring that back, Nintendo. But yeah, you know, they're not really good. Then we got all the games that released during this time. Great games, Lego City, great game, I never had it. Then we have the actual good ones. Well, actually, not New Super Mario Bros. 2, that was pretty bad. Sorry. Look at that Mario 3D Land, it's a land in 3D. Gotta love those stock images, you know? Then we have Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. You know, it's kind of interesting because I always thought this was like the first Luigi's Mansion game. Turns out this is the second one, and for some reason the US just didn't want to like put a 2 in the title for some reason. I don't know why. We got the best thing ever, Club Nintendo. I never used this. I was too young to understand what a pin was and go onto the internet and stuff. But I actually really missed out because there were some really cool things. And oh, look at that. There's a little nice stock image. Finally, we have the manual. Surprisingly, this is in color. I feel like most manuals are in black and white. But this was during like the time when Nintendo started like making manuals like less shorter. Now they were like pamphlets. But anyway, look at this. Now they're telling you how to play, which is really stupid when you think about it because half the game it's telling you how to play. Over here we have the adventure guide, and I'm saying this right now, I could solo Starlo in a fight, I swear to God. I could just take like a tennis racket and play wall ball with her bitch ass. I'm very sorry, that was very unnecessary and out of pocket. Alright, we're gonna go to the next game. Let's just erase that from our memory, please. Just, yeah. Is this the next game? Sure. Do we have to do this? Can we skip over it? Alright, what we have here is a crossover and a mistake. Paper Jam, more like belongs in the shredder. Ha! I'm sorry, I just really do not like Paper Jam. It's very tedious, and there's just something off about it compared to like the other games. But anyway, let's just, you know, think positively. We got, look at that. Are you me? I'm the real Bowser. Yeah, to be honest, I didn't really play that game all that much. I tried to get through it. I kept like failing, because when I was younger, for some reason it was a bit too hard for me. Anyway, over on the spine, we got Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. They actually have the font this time, and there's the 3 standing there. For some reason, I just got like an immediate flashback to like Mario Maker when there was like the secret mushroom and you could just play as the 3 of them for some reason. I don't know why, I think it was just the way that the 3 were standing like that, just like gave me a flashback to that moment. Anyway, let's take a look at the cartridge. Wow, look at that. I really want to throw it out, but sadly, it's part of the collection, so I have to keep it there. Look at that, it's Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario jumping into the action. There is no action, but whatever. Please, whoever's watching this, just please skip the video. There's nothing else. You know, I'm just gonna end it here. I'm not gonna give them like a satisfaction. Fuck you, Nintendo. Now it's time for the remake of Superstar Saga. And also Bowser's bullshit. Let's be honest, absolutely no one played that story. I'm gonna be 100% honest, I have zero recollection of this game. It sort of all just feels like a hyper dream, like I only remember the beginning and the final boss fight. I definitely do want to replay it, yet I just don't have the free time at the moment, so... Anyway, the box art, it feels like it's having an identity crisis. Like it's obviously trying to be like the DS era type of box art with just Mario and Luigi standing there. But then I feel like they're trying to remake the original box art for the GBA. But then I guess they just sort of combined it all that just to make this. But continuing, over on the back, we got the back. Yeah. The day I heard the announcement for this game was the day I actually learned that Partners in Time wasn't actually the original game. Anyway, over here we got the plot but thickens in Minion's Quest. I'm gonna be honest, the first time I entered the game, I immediately exited out. First level I beat, I quit the game, I was like, this isn't Mario and Luigi. On the spine, we have a very bland text. For some reason, they like bringing this back. We also have a Nintendo logo with like a little red at the bottom, which is pretty interesting because I feel like not many do that. Then we got the game icon, which is just Mario and Luigi standing there with a minion in the background. Now here comes the game, the good part that you've all been waiting for, even though I don't really playtest them, I sort of just look at them. I actually feel as if this one's actually pretty bland compared to like Dream Team, Paper Jam, and Partners in Time with just like the sticker art. Now again, this one doesn't come with a manual because Nintendo likes not having fun. All they gave me was just a bunch of boring game manual instructions. Has anyone actually ever read those in their entire lives? I have a feeling no one has. Which now that I think about it, Switch games don't even come with like any manuals. Sooner or later the boxes are going to be black and white and then no boxes at all. And finally, Alpha Dream's last attempt at making a game. A remake that did not need to be remade because you could easily use it on the 3DS, whatever. I was actually very excited for this game to come out. And the reason is because I originally lost the DS version and every time I would ask my parents to rebuy it, they were like, no. So I was able to disguise myself, saying, oh no, this is a different game. I remember the day I went to the mall to buy it, and coincidentally there was like this kind of like weird video game expo that was there. And I was able to get Wind Waker for about $50. And that is what started my video game hunting journey. But anyway, back to the game. They had a similar mode taken from Bowser's Minions from Superstar Saga, which was called Bowser Jr.'s Journey. And this is actually very underrated. I never played it because it's exactly like Bowser's Minions, and immediately once when I got into one level, I was just... Continuing with the spine cover, the text is also bland again, which is disappointing, but at least this game icon looks nice. You know, we got everyone in a big happy group photo. Now, let's see the game. Why do I always struggle to get this open? Then we have an expiration date for, I think it's like one of those GameStop renewals for if the game gets damaged, but I mean, that's pretty cool, something new. The game is more improved with Superstar Saga's art, because now, instead of just text and white blank space, we now have stock art of Mario, Luigi, and Bowser, which I think was actually from the original DS game. And yet again, we have more caution manuals for the DS and everything. Why, please Nintendo, just bring manuals back. Please, I'm begging you. But in the end, we're left with Alpha Dream's last attempt to making a Mario and Luigi game. Was it good? Yes, it was. But that was because the original game was already the best Mario and Luigi game ever. It makes me wonder what the next game could have been if they didn't decide to remake Bowser's Inside Story. But that's what makes these games special. If they had the power to pump out a Mario and Luigi game every year, would it be a beloved and missed series as it is now? Would people cheer as much when the next Mario and Luigi game will release on the new Direct? Would I have the same promise I made in my last video when talking about the return of Mario and Luigi?
But when the time comes when they release it on a Direct, I will scream at the top of my lungs, Nintendo, please bring this back!
Ah crap, I actually forgot about the Direct. Hopefully I didn't miss anything mind-blowing. But anyway, maybe one day I'll make my own Mario and Luigi game. Or maybe the next 30th Earthbound-inspired RPG, who knows. Until then, I'll be waiting to fulfill my promise of screaming at the top of my lungs, hearing that Mario and Luigi are coming back one last time.